we finally have the full banner lineup for version 2.7. And with the complete kits for Galbrina and Chuyuan revealed, it's time to actually break down who's the best pick for your account. This update brings 2 insane fusion units in Galbrina and Lupa, along with 2 of the most fan-favorite units, Zanny and Chuyuan. In this video, we'll go over each character, how good they are for you, their weapons and team synergies, so you can prioritize exactly who to pull in version 2.7.
Let's start with Lupa. She is joining us in the first phase, and she has been the heart of Mono Fusion since her release. She is known as the premier fusion support, carrying Mono Fusion teams almost by herself. What makes her so valuable is her insane synergy with fusion units and her unmatched buffs. Her Liberation grants the team the Pack Hunt and Glory effects. Pack Hunt increases all teammates' DMG by 6%. When the active character uses an Intra skill, the bonus increases by another 6%, stacking up to 18%. Glory allows all teammates to ignore 3 to 9% fusion res, depending on the number of fusion resonators in the team. With 3 fusion characters, they ignore an additional 6% fusion res. Her outro skill buffs the next resonator with plus 20% fusion DMG and plus 25% basic attack damage. Her main source of personal damage also comes from Liberation. Coming to her team synergy, her best in slot teams revolve around Brant and Changli or a full Mono Fusion setup. She works insanely well with quick swap playstyles, especially with Changli. If you have Brant or Changli, or even if you're a new player looking for someone to boost Encore, Lupa is your choice. She is currently the only support who provides this many team buffs. While Brant is considered a support, his kit leans more into healer and shielder and sub-DPS roles. As said, both Lupa and Brant have insane synergy with each other, making them must-pulls for one another, even if you don't have Changli. Before going into her disadvantages, let's take a quick look at the second rerun unit, Zanny. No doubt she is one of the strongest DPS characters currently, on par with Carthathia and Augusta, but she might not be as must-pull as someone like Augusta. Zanny is a Spectro heavy attack damage dealer whose kit revolves around Spectro Frazzle. She has different forms and playstyles, while also buffing spectral damage for the entire team, all while playing the role of a main DPS. Her kit is a little complex, but also extremely strong if played right. She offers 5% reductions in vibration states, 30% damage reduction, and complete interruption resistance when holding her skill, which is massive. She also has 2 different liberations, each entering a phase that deals massive damage. But even after having one of the strongest kits in the game, she lacks in one key area: team synergy. Her best in slot teams will always be around Phoebe, who applies insane Spectro Frazzle and buffs Zanny, helping her reach her full potential. With Phoebe, Zanny's team damage is as good as Augusta and Carthathia, but without Phoebe, it falls significantly. She does have synergy with Spectro Rover, who can be used as a cheaper alternative to Phoebe, but the damage gap is still massive. Talking about other team options, she can also be paired with the recently rerun character, Siakona. We'll talk more about Zanny compared to other characters later, but before that, let's take a quick look at the new units. If you want a full kit breakdown of the newer units, we've already made dedicated videos, so do check those out.
Starting with main DPS Galbrina, she is a fusion pistol heavy attack damage dealer, and being the newest DPS plus all the hype she's had in the lore, she's expected to be broken and possibly join the top 3 DPS in the game right now. Her kit mainly revolves around liberation damage, echo skill damage, and gaining stacks to amplify her output. She's only the second character in the game whose kit is centered around echo skill damage, the first being Frolova. When it comes to her team options, her absolute best teams will always be with Chuyuan and Frolova. She is currently the only on-field DPS who can maximize Frolova's off-field playstyle thanks to her echo skill-focused kit. That said, her teams are still strong enough to clear endgame content even when run with heavy attack buffers like Yuno and Mortefi, since her damage is also counted as heavy attack damage. She can also slot into Mono Fusion comps with Brant and Lupa, where their universal fusion buffs still apply to Galbrina. But remember, this only becomes her best option after you have echo skill damage buffers available. Being a pistol user, she has the same advantage as Carlotta with long-range gameplay, which makes her extremely easy and flexible to play. But as an echo skill damage dealer, there aren't many supports who can maximize her. Right now, Qiyuan is the only true Echo skill buffer in the game. If you don't have him, she can still work with heavy attack buffers like Mortefi or Yuno, but it won't be her peak potential. Of course, being a pistol user also comes with limitations. Weapon options are extremely restricted, meaning she's heavily reliant on her signature weapon or the paid Battle Pass pistol. With that said, moving on to Qiyuan, the most hyped unit of version 2.7, even though he isn't a pure DPS. He is a dedicated Echo skill damage buffer and sub-DPS. From his outro, he provides up to 30% crit damage and 50% Echo skill damage bonus. On top of that, his personal damage is no joke either, being on par with Brandt, especially after the beta buffs. Qiyuan's best team setups revolve around Echo skill damage dealers, primarily Gelbrina. He's her best in slot support, and he also pairs really well with Frolova. But outside of Echo-focused characters, his synergy drops off hard. Despite being an Arrow unit, his synergy with other Arrow characters is actually terrible. For example, Yuno is better used as a heavy attack buffer and not really an ideal partner for Qiyuan. Even after his insane buffs and long-awaited playstyle, his kit is still restrictive, mainly working only with Gelbrina and Frolova. Priority list for version 2.7 looks like this. Both of the DPS units are super strong in the current meta, but their main drawback is team synergy. Zanny needs Phoebe. I'm not saying you can't play her without Phoebe, but her damage definitely falls off hard. On top of that, her kit is a little complicated, especially for someone just starting the game. You might feel lost at first. But with the right setup and the right team, Zanny easily ranks in the top 3 DPS of the entire game. Gelbrina, on the other hand, puts herself very close to Zanny while being much easier to use. Her kit is straightforward compared to Zanny's, but she faces similar limitations. As the first pure Echo skill on-field DPS, she doesn't have many supports apart from Qiyuan, who directly buffs Echo skill damage. The problem is, Qiyuan is only available right after her phase, which makes it very difficult for F2P players to complete her team. On top of that, she also lacks a solid free-to-play weapon option. Yes, she does have some synergy with Brandt and Lupa, but her true value shines if you already have Frolova and you're missing Cantarella or Havoc supports. In that case, she becomes a massive buff to Frolova's potential. Now let's talk about Lupa. She's the must-pull unit for any fusion DPS, including Chong-Li, Encore, and even Brandt. Her only limitation is that she doesn't bring much if you don't have a fusion carry. Without fusion DPS, she's nowhere near a universal support like Verena or Shorekeeper. But if you do have a fusion DPS, she becomes irreplaceable. And finally, Qiyuan. Out of all these characters, he is the most restrictive. His only truly strong synergy is with Gelbrina, and that's about it. He doesn't fit well with anyone else, especially after the beta changes. The only 2 ways of playing him are as a buffer for Gelbrina or as an Echo skill buffer for Frolova. But using him as a carry isn't really recommended, especially in early sequences. So if we're ranking priorities, Lupa should be your #1 pull if you have Brandt, Chong-Li, or even Encore. Then comes Zanny or Gelbrina. Zanny if you already have Phoebe, because that makes her a monster, or Gelbrina if you have Frolova or plan to grab Qiyuan. And finally, Qiyuan, only if you're getting Gelbrina or really want to maximize Frolova as a DPS. If you want to see the full version breakdown including events and rewards, make sure to check out our last video. And don't forget our Lunite Pass giveaway is still active. Just comment down below and join the Discord server for more info. See you in the next one.